go back to Jack Cafferty for the Cafferty File. Jack.
Well, as you've been reporting all afternoon, the Democrats took a beating in New Jersey and Virginia yesterday. Pardon me, but the far right got their clocks cleaned in that congressional race in upstate New York. In defeating conservative Doug Hoffman, Bill Owens becomes the first Democrat to represent Congressional District 23 since the Civil War. Hoffman was aggressively supported by a bunch of the right wing's loudest voices, including Sarah Palin, Glenn Beck, and Rush Limbaugh. They tried to make the race a symbol of how the Republican Party has strayed from its conservative values. Pressure from the right wing of the party helped push the Republican candidate right out of the race last week because she simply wasn't Republican enough. Some even saw this contest as a struggle for the soul of the GOP. At least the results don't suggest that Sarah Palin won that fight. Nevertheless, it seems like conservative activists are just warming up. They've got their eyes on a list of so-called rhinos, Republicans in name only, for the midterm elections next year. People like Florida's Republican Governor Charlie Crist, who's running for the Senate. And some warn that Sarah Palin could be entering dangerous territory if she leads the movement against well-established figures like Crist. After all, Florida is often a key state in the presidential election. And there's the issue of Palin's ability to control a group of activists once they get fired up. You could also make the argument that Sarah Palin entered dangerous territory when she left City Hall in Wasilla. Here's the question. What does it say that the likes of Sarah Palin, Glenn Beck, and Rush Limbaugh failed to get their candidate elected in the New York congressional race? CNN.com/Cafferty File and unburden yourselves. Wolf?
A lot of folks will, Jack. Thank you. Let's go right to Jack for the Cafferty File. Jack.
Question this hour, what does it say that the likes of Sarah Palin, Glenn Beck, and Rush Limbaugh failed to get their conservative candidate elected in that New York congressional race up there in CD number 23? Pat says, who cares? They are patriots in name only. These blowhards would sell their family to Al-Qaeda if they could make a buck for themselves. They are and have always been in it for the money and the power. They don't give a damn about the people of the country. It's just a big chess game to them. C writes, it doesn't say anything about Palin, but it does say a lot about you, Jack. Calling people like us the far right shows your agenda. We are average working people who are tired of growing government intrusion into our daily lives. By the way, why do you always read so many more of the leftist comments than you do the ones from conservatives? Jeff in Connecticut, absolutely no one knew who Hoffman was 2 weeks ago, and yet he came very close to winning. That's amazing. This was a victory in spirit for conservatives. Tom in Michigan says it confirms Americans are not the complete idiots I thought we were for listening to talking heads and giving any credence to their rantings. It confirms once and for all they are mere entertainers to those who listen and are simply boors who do not care how they make a buck as long as it benefits them financially. The real losers are the sponsors who waste their money paying for their garbage shows day in and day out. Palin, Limbaugh, and Beck are merely clowns in the circus of life. They are there for the laughs. Ed writes, Mr. Hoffman believes in smaller government, less taxes, strong defense, and individual liberty, and the Democrats call that extreme. I think the Democrats are the ones who are out of touch. Simpson in Atlanta writes, if folks would open their eyes and deal with reality, it would say the same thing it said in the last election. The fringe loves the fringe, but elections are won from the middle. And Sean says, it tells me that Palin, Limbaugh, and Beck are more wind than sail. If you didn't see your email here, you can go to my blog at cnn.com/Cafferty File. We post a bunch of them there every day. Mr. Blitzer.